The biggest mistake that we make in prospecting is overthinking the amount of research and spending way too much time on things that we don't need to be spending time on. In this video, we're going to talk about what is the essential thing that you should be looking for and what is not a good example of types of research to go out for. What are some mistakes that you've seen prospectors make that the great ones are avoiding?
A very common mistake when it comes to research is using it as a reason to not reach out. We procrastinate through our research, right? We'll go as deep as we can to avoid picking up the phone. Or we'll do so much research to write a 20-minute email only to have it not opened. So oftentimes reps are using research as a reason not to reach out. So that's the first mistake. The second mistake is over-researching, doing way too much, trying to find every single little thing you can about somebody or about a company, realizing that oftentimes you're not even going to be able to use that information. It's not relevant to what we're actually trying to do, which is the third mistake, which is using research to find non-relevant information. So things like this. Hey, KD, saw you went to the University of Wisconsin. Go Badgers. That has nothing to do with why you are reaching out or why we should have a conversation. So that's an example of non-relevant research, whereas we're trying to find things that are actually relevant.
It's with the right intent, but we know that social media companies are built with algorithms that try and keep us on the system. They have us click through or stay on it, and it's so easy to get stuck into that rabbit hole. But that non-relevant issue comes from a good place. So think about it, but now in terms of what they would actually care about. So knowing about what university you went to, especially if it's a large one, like hundreds of thousands of people have probably gone to that university. And so making that connection, if you went there or somebody that you know has went there, is not a strong connection because it's not relevant to them. That doesn't help them get promoted or do their job better. So with that mindset, what are some of the things that we should look out for when we are doing research?
One of the best ways to approach research is actually coming from a problem-based lens. So when you are going through their website, you want to see, do they mention any of the problems that we solve? And the beauty here, y'all, is you can actually use the search functions to find this. You can go to the search bar if they have a blog to see if they've ever written information on things that are relevant to your product. You can go into the job ads to see if it describes some of the problems that someone needs to solve in their role. You can go to their LinkedIn and see what they're posting, see what their executives are posting, and see if any of it is aligned to your product or your company. So really, instead of trying to find everything, you're looking for very specific things. What are things that you can connect the dots back to your product? Same if you are going after large companies, public companies, where they are issuing their 10K and their strategies for the year. You don't have to read the whole thing. You can go through and search it for words like hiring or words like efficiency or words like product development, shifting to the cloud. Whatever it is, there's going to be certain phrases that you know are relevant to you, your product, and the problems you solve. And if you can't find it quickly, it means it's probably not there. And that's where we need to switch back to persona-based language, where we can at least customize around the persona to try to get the conversation started.
The influence technique is you're making it about them. You're using their words, the stuff that they care about. And the bar for this is not high, but it is critical, especially in a competitive environment or when the economy is making it more challenging to earn attention or potentially new budget. So by focusing on what they care about, that will help open doors. Driving through your insight about the types of customers that you work with that are similar to them are really beneficial if you can't find that research because they're not posting on LinkedIn or their website's outdated. Don't come up with excuses to not apply certain research techniques. If you know nothing, think about similar customers to them or similar titles to them, but always put in a little bit of work to try and make it about them. One technique we found valuable is try and find 3 things in 3 minutes. If you're working with somebody that's very important, a really critical personality, like a C-level executive at a top tier company, you can spend a little bit more time. If you're working with people that maybe are lower on the leadership rung and probably have more similar pains, you can probably move a little bit faster. But don't rely on just templated emails, templated outreach, or just generic messaging, because you need to make it about them. That's what earns conversations and makes you come across as a true expert.
And bonus tip here, research the personas. How well do you know the personas? What are the most challenging things that a CEO deals with in the cloud space? What does a VP of finance care about? You can also research the personas so you start to speak their language and know what it is they focus on day to day. And this is what feeds your cue cards and your stories as well. Because the better you understand the persona and the person, that's how we can connect the dots back to our product.